Still, in the north, where descendants of the first men dwell, worship of the old gods continues to this day, and the sacred faces of the weirwood trees keep close watch over the faithful.
From the fall of Kemet to the rise of the European powers. When Kemet was conquered, our time in the sun ended, and when their time began, so did a new kind of magic. Not alchemy, not metallurgy, but paper alchemy, history alchemy. They didn't just conquer lands, they conquered the timeline. Your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years. 40 years. 1 year for each day. They tell you a story of slaves in Egypt, a story of a man named Moses, raised in Pharaoh's house, sent back as a savior, a story where God hardens a king's heart, drops plagues on a kingdom, then frees the people with miracles and terror. But if you really look at it, the story starts to glitch. In the book of Exodus, they say the Hebrews were led out of Egypt overnight. But in Numbers and Deuteronomy, they admit something strange. They didn't just leave. They wandered in the desert for 40 years. 40 years. Not 40 days, not a long weekend, a full generation. So you have to stop and ask, if the mission was freedom, why keep them walking in circles for a lifetime? Why does a rescue mission feel more like a quarantine? Now imagine this. You're not looking at history through a church window anymore. You're looking at it through Kemet, through the eyes of Black Egyptians. Eyes that watch their own stories get stolen, flipped, and sold back under a new name. In this lens, the Exodus story stops looking like pure history and starts looking like propaganda. What if the slaves in the story really stand in for the common people of Kemet? The desert isn't just sand and heat, but years of mental reprogramming. The 40 years aren't about distance, but about killing off one belief system and raising another. A generation dies. A new generation is born under new gods. Zeus, Ammon, Jesus. Reprogramming the mind of the people of Kemet to worship the Greeks as gods. The Bible makes it sound like this is all original. First time, holy download, straight from heaven. But when you study the ancient world, you see the pattern. Stories of divine lawgivers coming out of the wilderness, older than the Bible. Stories of people leaving a powerful kingdom led by a chosen messenger, older than the Bible. Stories of gods judged, replaced, fused, renamed, all over Kemet. What later became the Moses story smells like a remix. Pieces of African myth, pieces of real political transitions, wrapped in a new costume and stamped, "This is the word of God." In this reading, the people weren't just wandering, they were being reprogrammed. Think about what the text itself says. In the desert, they don't just walk. They receive laws, learn new rituals, are told which gods to destroy, which altars to smash, which festivals to keep, which people to avoid. This isn't just survival training. This is indoctrination protocol. The old Egypt inside them had to die. The gods of their fathers, mothers, and ancestors. The Net Jeru, The principles of Kemet had to be painted as evil, pagan, cursed, so a new god could move in, a jealous one, a conquering one, a god that just happens to justify later empires, later crusades, later slavery. This is crazy. 40 is not a random number. In ancient symbolism, 40 often means a cycle, a completion, a reset. 40 days of rain, 40 days of fasting, 40 years of wandering. Enough time for the original generation, the one who remembered Kemet, who remembered the old ways to die out. And their children? Their children don't remember the Nile and its glory. They don't remember black pharaohs. They don't remember Ma'at, the balance, the feather, the scales. All they remember is the desert, the fear. Sometimes I just don't understand why. I still have unanswered questions. All I can do is keep going back to that cave with the Merkaba, them humble lessons I love and appreciate so much. I put these pieces together. Damn. I really wish he was still around. Why do people fight so hard over things they don't understand? Or do they? To conquer a kingdom and discard the black gods, that's a conquest of hate. Mankind hate what they can't conquer and fear what they don't understand. I guess that's just the fury of man.
Yes, because most humans inherit conclusions. They do not inherit understanding. You feel out of place because this world is built on forgetting. You feel restless because your mind is still searching.
Searching for what?
For what existed before names. The choice, I can show you how this world was assembled, but once you see it, you will never be able to unsee it. Then listen. Do not worship. Do not believe. Observe. That was the rule in the ancient time Hoiti. No belief, but knowing, understanding, obedience to the laws of nature in the universe. As a result of that, the divine feminine of nature will give up its deepest secrets, just seeing clearly. The first lie you were taught is that history is neutral.
It's not?
No. History is written by those who survived long enough to rename the truth. Kemet, now called Egypt. That is what they call it now.
But names change.
Patterns do not. All paths you will study, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianism, Islam, they all borrowed from Kemet.
Borrowed?
Yes.
And then claimed originality.
Be careful, Hoiti. Knowledge does not make you powerful. It makes you responsible. You keep asking why the stories repeat, why different lands tell the same truths with different mouths.
Because they copy from our gods.
Buddhism did not invent truth, he said. It distilled it. Removed the hierarchy, removed the gods as rulers, and left the path. Listen, Hoiti, these gods were aspects of nature with names in human's form, so the human mind can perceive the teaching properly. Example, when you have a dream, the subconscious use people and places you're familiar with to guide you. They're not to be worshipped but understood in certain aspect of yourself. Another example, the king cobra is the only serpent that can stand up. No legs, no arms, look a 6-foot man in the eye. That inner strength. Your spine, Osiris, remember?
Yes, I remember the ladder.
Exactly. So back to Buddha. He was trying to explain suffering in a way humans could not weaponize. Siddhartha was born into comfort, he said, a prince surrounded by illusion. But illusion cracks the moment you leave the palace.
The 4 sightings.
Yes. Age, disease, death, and then joy without possession.
So that's what messed him up.
No, that's what freed him. Desire creates attachment. Attachment creates suffering. This is not philosophy, he said. It is cause and effect.
Is this why the Bible warns us not to be friends with the world and the Eightfold Path?
Calibration. Thought, speech, action, focus. All aimed at reducing karmic residue. When karma reaches 0, he said, the cycle ends. This is what Buddhists call nirvana.
So no reincarnation.
No compulsion to reincarnate. There is a difference.
That's when he brought Egypt back into it, like he always did.
Now listen carefully, he said. What Buddhism describes as karma, Kemet described as the weight of the heart. In all this come from the heart of Kemet.
Feather of Mart.
Yes. No karmic residue, no negative confessions. Same equation.
That was the moment it clicked for me. Buddhism wasn't separate from Egypt. It was portable Egypt.
The Tibetan Book of the Dead, he continued, is the book of coming forth by day without the gods. Guidance through death, navigation of consciousness.
And reincarnation tests.
Yes. Objects, memory, recognition. Consciousness leaves fingerprints. You will not fully understand this here.
Why not?
Because memory is not just mental. It is geographic. You're just a boy. As you become of age, the world will begin to tug more at your lower nature.
That's when he said it again. The same place, the same insistence.
You must go to Kemet. Stand before the ruins. Let the stones speak to the body.
You always say that.
Because you are still listening with your mind.
You notice something. The serpents. They're everywhere. In Buddhism, in Hinduism, in Egypt, in Asia.
Yes, and yet people still call them symbols.
So they're not just metaphors?
Yes, that the pharaoh has control of the spiritual and the physical aspect of himself. Man, know thyself. They are memories. In Kemet, you were not allowed to be deemed as pharaoh if you didn't possess that ancient knowledge. But the same rule apply in modern time. Hoiti. If you cannot control the physical and spiritual aspect of yourself, you're nothing more than just an animal, a dog well devoured. Anubis, god of the underworld, then cycle back to earth, which is the underworld. Before Buddhism had monks, he continued, it had guardians.
The Nagas. They're always described as serpents, sometimes dragons, sometimes shapeshifters.
Because consciousness does not prefer one form.
It chooses function.
Once you retain the power that the Egyptian were trying to regain and get that power back fully into consciousness. Man, know thyself. That's when you'll become the one and shapeshift reality.
But they were overthrown before they could regain that power back. The one that overthrew our ancestor, the Greeks, the Persians. Can they get that power our ancestors were trying to regain?
No, only the melanated being can.
Why only us, the melanated being?
Because you were ordained by a universal consciousness beyond the primitive reality to have immortality. Everything goes back to the black god's Hoti. It's in your cartoons, symbols, movies, even religion, the black robes, the Teflon. It's all there, little one. All this is about melanin, plain and simple.
And the Nagas were black.
They were described that way before color became political. They lived near water, near earth, near heat, near memory. The Buddha did not awaken alone.
He was protected.
When he meditated, the Naga king sheltered him, shielding him from distraction, from interference,
From what?
from forces that feed on unfinished minds. In modern time, forces are entertainment, gossip, sex, lust, anything that can keep you in a lower level mind, to keep men weak, because culture is passed down when men master nature in woman.
So the serpent isn't evil.
No, the serpent is discipline. It rises only when the body is ready.
Kundalini.
Yes. But long before that word existed, serpents coil. They ascend. They do not rush.
Like the spine.
Yes. And this is where Buddhism becomes misunderstood. When Buddhism talks about ending reincarnation, people think it means escape.
But you said it's about no compulsion.
Reincarnation does not stop because you reject it. It stops because there is nothing left pulling you back. When the serpent rises properly,
The lower instincts quiet.
the mind stops leaking energy.
And that's why animals are respected.
Yes. They do not fight their nature. They inhabit it. Now look east.
China, Japan, Thailand. Your tribe, the dragon.
Yes.
Same being.
Different posture.
And the Chinese zodiac.
They're all real animals.
Exactly.
So ask yourself why only one is dismissed as myth.
Because it remembers too much, like you.
Yes. And memory threatens control. The soul knows all, Hoiti. That's why you were drawing to me.
So when people erase the serpent, they weren't just changing stories. Is that where you get your dragon slayer stories from?
Only a foolish European believe he can slay a dragon. But we'll get to that part. I have to lay the groundwork. We were interrupting activation. When you make it to Kemet, everything I taught you will come full circle.
Because that's where the serpent stands up.
Yes. In stone. In alignment. In scale. When you stand before the ruins,
You will not learn this.
you will remember it. Before temples, before language. Nature was the instruction.
So that's why Buddhism respects animals.
Yes.
And Kemet did the same.
Symbolically and practically.
They studied how animals move,
How they hunt.
how they rest.
Because animals obey balance. They do not overconsume. They do not kill for status. Just like a lion in the jungle, they only kill base of universal law, not man law. Universal law, when they are hungry, they only eat once a week up to a quarter of its body weight. Hunger passes.
And when hunger passes,
Violence ends. That's how the ancient live. Now and day they kill for sport, for nothing.
because humans lost rhythm,
Animals are not controlled the way humans are.
they still hear instinct.
They still obey cycles.
And that's why ancient people revered them.
Yes.
Not worship.
Recognition. Animals teach function.
Humans prefer story.
Yes.
And stories became entertainment. That word again. Like how people watch nature shows now. They consume wonder instead of studying it. If humans watched animals the way animals watch the world,
There would be no confusion.
they'd understand restraint. Humans prefer stories, and stories became entertainment. That word again, like how people watch nature shows, not taking so wondering it instead of studying it. If humans watch animals the way animals watch the world, there.
Yes, and cooperation and respect.
But animals do things that seem human,
Humans do things that are animal.
like dancing.
Yes, birds danced before humans named rhythm for mating calls, courtship, play, protection, all encoded. So when people dismiss animals, they dismiss themselves. Buddhism teaches non-harm, not morality, because harming disrupts balance awareness, and disruption creates karmic residue. So respecting animals isn't kindness, it's intelligence. They are not decoration, they are reminders.
Of what we used to know.
Yes, and what still knows us. This is why Egypt matters.
Because the animals are still there.
In stone, in scale, in posture. When Osiris became a distant god, the work was abandoned. When resurrection became symbolic, responsibility vanished. People began praying for outcomes instead of training for them.
So Buddhism kept the work.
Yes, it removed Osiris's name but kept his function. No god to resurrect you, only discipline. The eightfold path is reassembly. Right thought restores vision. Right action restores balance. Right concentration restores alignment. This is Osiris without mythology.
And religion broke it.
Religion interrupted the cycle. By turning instinct into sin, by turning discipline into obedience, by turning resurrection into reward. When the serpent is labeled evil, it is never trained. When the dragon is demonized, it is never integrated. It becomes reactive, violent, unstable.
That's the world now.
Yes, untrained dragons everywhere. This is why Egypt matters more than belief systems. Egypt preserved method in stone, posture, scale, orientation. They built resurrection into architecture.
Merkaba, how do you be knowing all of this information about our ancestors and the ancient world?
Because I've been here for ancients before the dawn of man.